What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm excited to say that 2019 we're gonna have a bunch of different content. I'm starting a podcast. I want to do some more personal, just talking to the camera type videos. I still want to be giving you guys bigger and better tutorials for Premiere, Cinema 4D, After Effects, and even some tutorials talking about my camera settings, lenses, gear, music videos, behind the scenes. Basically, now that we're hitting 100K subs, I really want to start taking this serious. I really want to start pushing new kind of content. The goal is every single video I make, I want to help you guys in some sort of way. So today, we're just going to start it off easy. We're going to be doing a little Q&A session. I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me anything that you want to know. So hopefully some of my answers can help you guys. Okay, so we're going to start off with Jason.Ramirez. He says, advice for finding clients. And this is a great question to start off with because this is probably one of the questions that I get asked the most. And I'm going to give you guys some of my advice starting from what I did at the beginning all the way up until what I do now, but I'll try and keep it general and quick. If you're a new beginner, if you just bought a camera, if you have no idea where to start, I recommend you go and you find some friends who want to shoot a video together, or you can even go out and just shoot something at a cool location. My very first video I ever made was at this Christmas display garden that I actually just revisited, I think last week. And I literally just went there, took some clips, and just applied some of the things that people were teaching in these tutorials. You'll see there's a bunch of little zoom in, zoom out stuff like that in that video. But once you've done that, like I said, find a friend, shoot a music video, shoot whatever kind of video you want to make. Then you want to be doing this beginning work so that you can build up a small little portfolio, which you can then use to send to artists, whether it's through email, Instagram DM, Twitter DM, Facebook, however it is. Say, hey, I know you make this kind of music. I make these kind of videos. I think that we can work together and make something pretty cool. You link up with these artists. I guarantee that they have friends doing similar things. You kind of just have to build up a snowball effect. Show them what you've done to this new artist. You keep moving along. The more you work, the easier it's going to become until you get to the point where 50% of the work you're going to be doing is probably people reaching out to you, whereas the other 50% should be you reaching out to the people that you want to work with. All right, so moving on to the next question. JMB Visual says, do you smoke dope or use any drugs when you edit to make you more creative? I don't like to be under the influence of anything whenever I'm sitting there and actually creating. Usually I like to sit down in like long hour chunks. If I take something that's making me too tired or just kind of distracts me from the fact that I need to sit there and just think as hard as I can, work as hard as I can, I found that in my personal experience, it doesn't really work. Okay, so next up, Android Tech _Visual says, best tip to improve our editing skills. And for that, I would say binge watch a bunch of tutorials. There's so many tutorials out there, so many great creators. Justin Odisho, YC Imaging, Cinecom. There's a bunch of smaller YouTubers out there that you guys can check out their tutorials. Start off by just copying tutorials, copying what they're saying. Then as time goes on, you're going to be able to change things around to develop your own personal style. Also, there's a lot of things out there that aren't tutorial based that can still help you. For example, recently I've been watching VFX breakdowns that are on YouTube. It doesn't really give commentary, but just kind of shows like a swipe of the different steps they use to pull off things. Like in the Harry Potter movies, or if you just Google it, you can find a bunch of different movies with VFX breakdowns. Another cool way is just use Google, use forums. You can find the information there if you're really looking hard for it. Use the entire internet to your advantage, and most importantly, be consistent. I guarantee you're going to see an improvement, whether it's editing, filming, or whatever you're doing. Nordine_ says, I'm 19, but I'm curious, at what age did you start getting into videography? I was around the same age. I think I got into it when I was around 18 or 19. I was watching Justin Escalona. I was watching Cole Bennett. I actually first saw his interview on No Jumper, and that's what made me want to go into music videos. So shout out to him for that. And then just a bunch of other creators that I probably saw on the internet. Sam Coulter, I think, was a big inspiration. And then I bought a camera around, I think, same age, 19. I'm 21 now. I had a camera for about 2 years, but I've only been taking it serious, I think, for a year. Okay, so 47 Royal says, what would you say is unique about your work, and did you develop a way to stand out? So I think that my work is still in the process of really maturing. I think there's two ways people usually go about it. I don't think that one or the other way is better or worse. I think that people just choose one of these paths depending on their personality type and just how they learn. First is people try and shut out a lot of what other people are doing, try to be completely individual, try and create things just in their own personal vision. And the second way, I think, is people that really pay attention to a lot of the work that's out there, mimic that, and then this is a big key step. Once you get to the point where you're able to mimic things, you need to change it around, you need to experiment, you need to apply your individuality, and that's the one key step that's really going to take you to the next level. Because if you're stuck in that mimicking step, there's always going to be someone out there who's done that before. It's old news, and it's not going to push you to really get to that next level of something new, something different, something unique. Even if it's not 100% unique, if you can put different twists on things, people are going to recognize that, and people are going to enjoy that. Some of the greatest artists in history have been influenced by things from the past that they've seen. but they had the ability where they can change it around, mold styles together to create something unique, and that's an important step. Either one of those pathways is completely okay to take. It's just really up to you as an individual to choose how you want to learn and how you want to get to that next step. Okay, so I kind of rambled on that one. So Nicholas Sherhart, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. He says, how do you plan out your videos? Do you have an exact storyboard or do you just figure it out? Great question again. For most of my videos, and actually most of what I do and most of the ideas that I have, I'm always writing it down. Whether I'm writing it down just to remember it or writing it down just to kind of build a storyboard, that's one of the most important parts of what I do and how I remember things, how I make things happen. If you have a great idea, I 100% recommend write that down immediately, whether it's in a notepad. I like to use notepads on my computer just so I can bring them up on my desktop. I can search for them easily just using the computer. So yes, I would definitely recommend writing down things, whether it's your ideas or storyboarding your videos in some sort of way. Okay, so Tyler_Sugg says, can you give advice on getting into the audio/visual production industry and gaining connections? My best recommendation is take my advice about finding clients and using your portfolio, put that on your social media, and then reach out to people who are doing similar things as you, whether they're artists, music video directors, editors, producers, whatever industry it is you're trying to get into. Follow these people and just reach out to them, engage with them, let them know that you're doing similar things, and try and build a relationship with them, because ultimately these are people that have the same interests as you. And if you reach out to these people, one, you can build connections and you can end up making something great in the future or collaborating in the future. Two, you can actually make some great friends just by doing it this way. So make sure you reach out to people. You don't need to keep everything bottled up in yourself. Reach out and try and become a part of the community as a whole. So Who is John or JXN says, how did you find your own personal style when it comes to editing? And I think that just comes from a mixture of experience, trying new things, and just trying to create visuals that I think look cool. That's really all it is, just applying your own individuality and just having the experience necessary to be able to go in and just manipulate, work with these tools, and just try different things. All right, so next up, Jesus with a Z says, do you ever plan on making a guide about directing, like lens, camera settings, etc.? Yes, 100%. I'm making a video on that. The only reason that hasn't been out yet is I'm working out the kinks with production. I want to make sure that when I do put out those tutorials showing my camera and everything, I want it to look and sound super professional. I don't want it to look amateurish. I want to have a higher standard of what my videos are going to be just going into 2019, going into having 100,000 subscribers, and really just evolve as a whole. But that's definitely going to be coming soon, so hopefully you guys are happy about that. So Wavy Jam says, what advice would you give to your past self when you first started editing? Great question again. I would say best advice I could give to my younger self is just not to be stressed. I think I would say that I needed to understand that, like, developing your career takes time. Getting better takes time. It takes hard work. It takes hard work, consistency, but most importantly, you can't rush something. It really does take a lot of time to develop your skills fully, to develop what you like fully, your interests fully. Also, I would say just not to stress so much about little things that aren't going to matter in the long run. Just focus on learning things and focus on getting past those things so that you can evolve and one step closer to where you're trying to be. So Love is Cool 89 says, how do you come up with new ideas? And I take inspiration from, I think, just everything I see. Movies, animation, random thoughts, things I see out on the streets, things I see on the internet. Anytime I have an idea, I just make sure I write that down. But basically my inspiration just comes from experiencing life, the things that I was into when I was a kid, and I try and just pull from that. So Asadelic has a similar question. He says, what's your inspiration for editing lately? Lately, I would say Black Mirror is a big inspiration. I love that show, and I just love the whole like futuristic aesthetic of everything. The movie Akira, look that up. Also, I've been watching Stanley Kubrick movies like Full Metal Jacket, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Clockwork Orange. I've been getting inspiration from those super good movies and just a legendary film director. I've also been really into the artwork of this Polish sculptor from the 1930s. I think his name is Szykalski. Look up Szykalski. Like I said, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. Look that up on Netflix and watch that if you want to see an interesting story. So Life is Juice says, do you shoot straight 60 frames per second or back and forth between 24 and 60? So what I do, I shoot on a Sony a6300, which I'm shooting on now, and I have two little dial presets. I'm going to make a whole video talking about how to do this, but basically on one preset I have saved 24 frames per second at 4K, and then if I switch it to my second preset, my camera will be shooting at 120 frames per second at 1080p. So easily I could just switch that little dial and shoot either 24 at 4K or 120, which is super nice for slow motion at 1080p. And like I said, full tutorial explaining all that is coming soon. Vince Evans _ says, how long did it take to get where you are now? I would say it took about a year of consistency. The way I define consistency is one video every 3 days at a minimum. So that's kind of my own self little rule of how I want to stay consistent and be putting things out. So KU Alexa 1619 says favorite video to make. I think so far my favorite video I made is the Wi-Fi's funeral Genesis video, just because I think that video was really a breaking out point for my sort of style, and I really tried to put everything into that. But now I think that my future videos, now that I want to be directing a lot of them and working with a lot of better directors that I edit with and collaborate with, I think that my videos are just going to go up and up. A lot of things are going to change. The quality I want to make a lot better. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this long question answer. It was more like a giant rant because I think I've spent so long on each question, but hopefully it helped you in some way. I tried to be genuine and honest with my thoughts. So anyways, leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you're new, consider joining the community. All relevant links in the description, and we're going to roll out this new outro that I just made. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.